Welcome to English Simple Hub.
It's great to be here.
Today we are doing something a little bit different. Usually on the deep dive, we take this huge stack of articles or, a massive book and we just condense it all down.
Yeah, into the key takeaways.
Exactly. But today we're zooming in. We're taking a microscope to something very specific, very high stakes, and honestly, something that stresses a lot of people out.
We are talking about the IELTS speaking test.
Right. Specifically part 1.
And even more specific than that, we're looking at a topic that, it seems pretty simple on the surface.
Deceptively simple, yeah.
Right, but it's actually a goldmine for scoring high, but only if you know what you're doing. The topic is languages.
Which is an interesting choice because the source material we're looking at, it says right at the top that there aren't actually that many questions about languages.
No, it's not the most common topic. You could do, 10 practice tests and maybe never even see it?
So that makes you think, why bother, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's so rare, why are we spending our time on it? Why not focus on work or hometown or something?
Well, because the goal of this deep dive isn't just to, memorize answers for one niche topic.
Right.
It's about understanding the whole mission of a Band 9 candidate. The strategies we're going to unpack today, they apply to literally everything.
A Band 9, the holy grail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, our source material for today is basically a masterclass in efficiency. It gives you these specific power phrases, these grammatical structures that, yes, they work for languages, but more importantly, they show the examiner exactly what they're looking for.
Which is what?
Range, precision, and a kind of natural flow.
I love that. So we're not just learning to say, I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
We're learning how to signal to the examiner, hey, I'm fluent, and I know how to use complex grammar without even breaking a sweat.
Precisely. It's about moving
Yeah.
beyond just, yes or no answers.
Yeah.
The whole dynamic we're going to explore today, it focuses on 3 specific questions and the model answers.
And we're going to unpack why they work, word for word.
That's the plan.
Okay, let's dive in. So segment 1 is about describing ability. And honestly, this feels like where most people probably trip up.
Oh, for sure. Either they're too humble or they just sound like a robot reading a script.
Or they use the same words everyone else uses.
And that's what keeps them stuck at a Band 6.
Right. So the first question our source highlights is, how many languages can you speak and what are they?
A standard opening question.
Yeah.
Now, a standard candidate might say, I speak 3 languages. My first language is English, and I also speak,
It's factually correct, but it's so boring.
It's linguistically flat. So what's the first upgrade the source gives us?
It's a vocabulary switch. So instead of saying native language or first language, it suggests using the term mother tongue.
Mother tongue.
It sounds a little bit old-fashioned, maybe, or poetic.
A little, yeah. But it's idiomatic and it's precise. The source highlights that mother tongue is a direct synonym for native language. It's the language you grew up with.
The one that feels like home.
Exactly. And using that phrase, it just immediately elevates your answer from basic to something more advanced. It's a collocation.
It shows you know which words belong together. It's like a low-hanging fruit, isn't it?
Right.
Easy to remember, my mother tongue is English. Done.
Right.
But here's the tricky part, and the source really gets into this. What if you speak a language, but you're terrible at it?
Yes. The
Yeah.
fluency trap.
Exactly. I mean, I took French in high school. I can order a croissant, maybe ask where the library is.
Sure.
But if I say I speak French and then the examiner asks me about, the political situation in Paris, I'm done for. So how do we handle that?
Okay, so the source offers a fantastic strategy here. It gives us 2 phrases. The first one is a really high-level way to say no.
Which is?
By no means, as in I am by no means fluent.
By no means. That sounds very authoritative.
It is. It means not at all, or certainly not. It's a strong negative. So instead of just saying I am not fluent, which is fine, but boring.
You say I am by no means fluent.
Right. And what's really interesting is that our source notes, this isn't just for speaking.
Ah, I saw that. It's versatile.
You can use by no means in your IELTS writing tasks. It's formal enough for an essay. This solution is by no means perfect, so you're getting double value from learning it.
Okay, so I've established I'm not fluent. I am by no means fluent, but I don't want to sound like I know nothing. I want to show I can, survive.
And that is where the second phrase comes in. The source gives us a phrasal verb, get by.
I can get by in it. I love phrasal verbs. They always make you sound more like a native speaker.
They really do. And the definition is key here. To get by means you have just enough of the language to manage. You can survive. You understand people, they understand you, even with mistakes.
So putting that all together, the answer becomes something like, including my mother tongue, I can speak 3 languages. I am by no means fluent in Spanish, but I can get by in it.
That is a Band 9 answer. You've used a collocation, mother tongue, a strong negative, by no means, and a natural phrasal verb, get by.
You've turned a simple list into a whole display of linguistic ability.
But wait, we're not done. There's one more thing.
The grammar bomb. The source drops it right at the end of the answer.
The tense that really, really impresses examiners.
The source calls it out directly. The sentence is, I've only been studying it for about a year.
Present perfect continuous, I have been studying.
Okay, let's unpack this. Why does the source say this one tense impresses them so much? Why do they care about this specific structure?
Because it's difficult to use correctly, especially when you're under pressure. The present perfect continuous, it connects the past to the present.
Right.
It means you started studying in the past and you are still studying right now.
Yeah.
It shows the duration.
It tells a story of time.
Exactly. A basic student says, I study Spanish. Present simple. A fact. But I have been studying shows continuity. The source is very clear that this is a key differentiator.
And the source actually warns us, doesn't it? It says something like, it's very difficult to remember to use this during the test.
Yes. This is the exam freeze. When you get nervous, your brain just defaults to simple grammar. You just revert to the basics to survive.
So what's the solution? How do we hack this?
Preparation. The source says you need to have these phrases ready and prepared. You need that script in your head. I've only been studying it for.
So you don't have to construct it from scratch in the moment.
You just press play.
That is such a good tip. Don't invent complex grammar on the fly. Have it in your back pocket.
Exactly.
Okay, before we move on to the next question, I want to do something we don't usually do. We're talking about languages, global exams, and I know our listeners are from all over the world.
It really is a global community, isn't it?
It is. So I'd love it if you could just pause for a second and comment below, which country are you watching from? We would love to see where the Deep Dive family is.
It is always fascinating to see that map fill up.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving on. Segment 2. The source brings us to the second question. Do you think it is difficult to learn a new language?
This is a trap question.
Why a trap? It seems pretty straightforward.
Because your first instinct is to just answer yes or no.
Yes, it's hard.
And that just kills the conversation. It gives you nowhere to go. A Band 9 answer always keeps the door open. The model answer in the source, it starts with a classic pivot.
Let me guess. That depends.
That depends on the person. It allows you to break the answer into 2 parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me versus for others. For children versus adults.
Let's talk vocabulary here. The source suggests avoiding the word difficult.
Yeah. Why?
Because everyone uses it. It's a Band 6 word. He suggests tougher and trickier instead.
It is becoming tougher. It is getting trickier.
They're great synonyms. Tough and tricky mean difficult, but using the comparative forms, tougher, trickier, shows lexical variety. You're not just echoing the question.
And tricky has a slightly different feel, doesn't it? Like, it implies it's complicated, maybe a bit deceptive.
Exactly. It shows you have a more nuanced vocabulary.
Okay, and then the source uses this really vivid image. I think this is my favorite part of the whole thing.
The one about kids' brains.
Yes. He compares them to something in the kitchen.
A sponge. Their brains are like sponges.
It's a classic metaphor, but it works so well here. The source explains the imagery. A sponge absorbs water, and children take in information.
Take in. Another phrasal verb.
You're catching on. Yes. You could say absorb, but take in is just more natural in spoken English. Using the simile, like sponges, creates a mental picture.
And visual language is always more engaging.
Always. It wakes the examiner up.
But there's another grammar point hidden in here, isn't there? Just like the first segment.
There is. Look at the tense he uses when he talks about adults.
Yeah.
He says, for me personally, it is becoming tougher as I get older.
It is becoming. It is getting.
Continuous tenses again.
So why this pattern?
Well, the source emphasizes that examiners look for this because you're using a continuous tense to describe a trend, a changing state. It isn't just tough. It is becoming tougher. It's a process.
So it seems like the big theme here is that static answers are low scoring. It is hard. I speak French.
Whereas dynamic answers score high.
It is becoming tougher. I have been studying.
That's a perfect summary. It's all about movement. You want your grammar to be a movie, not just a photograph.
Love that. Okay, so we've covered ability, we've covered difficulty. Now the final question from the source. Will you learn a new language in the future?
This brings us to segment 3. The source calls this future ambitions, but I like to think of it as the emotional intensity segment.
Emotional intensity, that sounds a bit dramatic for an exam.
It is, but look at the phrase the source gives us. The speaker says, I'm dying to learn.
I'm dying to learn, not I want to learn, I'm dying to.
The source is very careful here, and so we should be too. This phrase is fantastic for speaking. It shows real passion. It means you want to do something very, very much.
But there's a catch, isn't there?
A huge one. The source issues a critical warning. This phrase is informal.
So do not put this in your academic writing tasks you essay.
Absolutely not. You can't write, the government is dying to solve the economic crisis. It's a tone error. Way too casual.
But in the speaking test, which is a conversation, it sounds natural, enthusiastic.
Exactly. It adds personality. I'm dying to learn Spanish. It breaks that robotic pattern. But the answer doesn't stop there. It adds a layer of reality. The speaker then says, but I'm focusing on English at the moment.
And there's that continuous tense again. I'm focusing.
Showing a current action. And then the speaker uses a time reference that I think is really clever. They don't just say, I'll learn it in the future.
They say, so it'll be in the distant future, I guess.
Distant future.
So what's the big deal there? Why not just future?
The source explains it. Near future means soon. Distant future means not soon. Maybe years from now.
And why does an examiner care about that distinction?
Precision. The source says using distant future proves to the examiner that you have a good lexical range. You're not just using the generic bucket of the future, you're specifying when.
It's the difference between a blurry photo and a sharp photo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And unlike dying to, these time phrases, near future, distant future, you can use them in writing. They're formal enough.
So let's look at that full answer one more time. I hope so. I'm dying to learn, but I'm focusing on English at the moment. So it'll be in the distant future, I guess.
It's short, but it packs so much in. The informal idiom, the continuous grammar, the precise time marker.
It's like a perfectly crafted little thing. Every word has a purpose.
And did you notice the I guess at the end?
Yeah. Why is that there?
It just softens it. It makes it sound conversational, like you're thinking in real time, not just reciting something you memorized.
It really does. You know, we've covered so many specific phrases today. Mother tongue, by no means fluent, get by, brains like sponges.
Dying to learn, distant future. It's a whole toolbox.
It really is. And before we wrap up, I want to ask you, the listener, one more time. We covered a lot of idioms today. Comment below, which specific phrase did you learn today? Which one really stuck with you?
I'm curious to see which ones resonate. Is it the dramatic dying to or the more practical get by?
I have a feeling brains like sponges might be a popular one. It's just so visual.
It definitely sticks in the memory.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. If we had to summarize the Band 9 formula from this source, what would it be?
I'd break it down into 3 pillars. First, vocabulary upgrade. Don't settle for the easy word. Don't say native language. Say mother tongue. Don't say hard. Say tougher or trickier.
Check. Pillar 2.
Dynamic grammar. Avoid static statements. Use the present perfect continuous, I have been studying, to connect the past and present. Use other continuous tenses, it is becoming, to describe trends. Show movement.
And the third pillar.
Natural idioms. Phrases like dying to, get by, take in. The things that make you sound like a human being, not a textbook.
And crucially, knowing when to use them.
Context is key. Knowing dying to is for speaking, but distant future works for everything.
This has been so useful. If you want more of these strategies, if you are, dare I say, dying to learn more about IELTS, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more IELTS podcasts.
We've got plenty more sources to unpack.
We certainly do. Now, before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
We talked about how the source said that present perfect continuous, I have been studying, is really hard to remember in the moment.
The exam freeze.
Exactly. And the source's solution was to have it ready and prepared. So my challenge to you is this. Don't just listen to this. Actually, write out your script. What is your mother tongue? And how long have you been studying English?
I have been studying English for.
Fill in that blank. Memorize that one sentence. Make it true for you.
Because if you have that one complex sentence ready, like the source says, you won't freeze.
You'll just press play.
I have been studying English for 5 years, and I am dying to master it.
Perfect. Go write your script. Thanks for listening, everyone.
We'll see you in the next deep dive. Goodbye.